are back. Man, it's another week already, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy, 2T's, coming to you with another edition of That's a Bet podcast. And y'all know how it go. I can't start the show without a little flow. And introducing the greatest podcast co-host in podcast land. He goes by the name of Will Judson, Willy J, but y'all know what I call him. Willie baby. Willie baby, what's good with you, man?
Same old stuff, man. I'm trying to stay sharp and follow the money. That's about it.
Hey, that's what you got to do, man. You got to follow the money, you know. But hey, man, I'm trying to figure out what's going on, man. Will, what's up? What's up with this Dolphins hat, man?
I like the hat, man. I got it when I was at the game last year, and I getting close to needing a haircut, so I went ahead and put the hat on for the show, man.
Okay, I was wondering because I don't know if he was trying to imply something that he gonna do later on in the show, people, or what, you know? Because Monday night, you know, that 14.5 Dolphins is the dog on the road. Okay, you know, let's we're not even gonna go there right now, but. Hey, man, I appreciate you guys rocking with us and listening to the podcast. Me and Willy J bringing another edition of NFL. What is this, week 8, Will, already?
Yeah,
we halfway through the season, y'all. I mean, it's rolling quick. We're giving you guys the best action that we can give you guys to play each and every Sunday. And I think this is going to be another good week here, Will. Last week, I think both of us went 2-1? Yeah, I think in our best bets. Yeah, I think we both went 2-1 there. I think the one loss. Do you remember your one loss, Will? I think it was on. Let me see. I think Willy J missed. We might have missed the same one. Were we both on? Let me pull this up for y'all real quick.
Yeah, I'm looking right now.
Oh, the Giants let us down.
Oh, yeah, that the Giants let us and the world down.
Man, Come on, New York. You got a team coming across country, the Cardinals, with that defense. I mean, y'all put up 21 points against the Cardinals defense. Y'all made Patrick Peterson look like he was a all-pro again. I mean,
that hurt.
Jeez, that one hurt. So, yeah, we were texting about that one, too. I was like, dang. So, we had a good week last week. If you guys followed us, you guys should have won a little bit of money. This week, Willie J, I think this week, to me, handicapping these games, I think there's going to be a lot of favorite wins, personally, just from what I do in some of my research. I think the lines are a little bit softer this week. There's a lot more value in a sense. I think Vegas is starting to figure out who's good, who's not. And they're starting to put these lines in the 6.5, 7-point range for some of these favorites. And for me, in those type of numbers and lines, I think there's a lot of value in those, especially for some of the underdogs. But from what we've seen, like, bro, I got to tell people, I'm sorry, y'all. I picked the Jets Monday night. Willy J told me not to take them. I went against him, his rule, my rule, the Belichick rules. And I picked the Jets to not only cover the 11, but the Jets to cover the first half. And they lost 33-0. I mean, Will couldn't. He was killing me on the text line. He was like, man, I told you. Don't bet against Belichick. I don't know what you was thinking. And Will was just racking up. I think you had the first quarter Patriots.
First quarter, first half, and I had the under for the game.
Look, he had everything. He hit the trifecta. He hit one of them Splash Brother threes from deep. That was easy, wide open. He's Stephen out there. So it was Staffordless. That bet was.
Oh, man.
But yeah, man, I learned my lesson with that. And guys, I'm here to tell you right now, if in doubt with New England game, just take New England. If the team covers, they cover. You just live with that. But the odds are always in your favor if you're taking New England. So with that being said, real quick, Will, let's do some housekeeping, man. Everybody, I want to thank you all again. YouTube is still booming, Will. Last week, we almost had 3,000 views. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, we appreciate the love you guys are giving and the likes. I think we had over 55 thumbs up. So we appreciate it. We had about five thumbs down, but that's cool. You know, if you don't like it, you don't like it, but you're still listening.
Thumbs down must have lost some money, man.
Hey, exactly. We must have lost somebody some money there. So, we can't blame. We can't be perfect. That's not the name of the game, but we appreciate you guys. But hey, Will, let them know where they can follow you at, man. Oh, I like that ringtone.
Oh, man, that was YouTube. I was actually trying to pull our channel up and actually went to a video. They spit the little ad out there. My
Oh
bad.
man, look at that. Putting ads on us already. But where can they follow you at, Will?
Group 13 Sports, GROUP 13 Sports. That's Twitter and Instagram. Group 13 Sports. I don't tweet that much. I got to get better with that, but you'll see like throughout the weekend some of the plays that I like, and it's just a little fun, dibbling, dabbling in all the sports. So Group 13 Sports.
Gotcha. And you guys can follow me at Lockett2Ts. That's LOCKETT, the number 2TS. Lockett2Ts. And make sure you guys follow the show on Instagram and on Twitter now at That's a Bet Podcast. We basically post our links to our podcast each week. We'll post some of our best bets. We'll also post little stats throughout the week just saying, hey, San Francisco is, 4-1 against the spread versus NFC South, that type of stuff, to give you guys little nuggets to let you know where we're leaning. And also there you can find some of our premium picks where to find us. Make sure you DM Will. Make sure you DM me if you guys want some special premium picks from us that we can give you guys. So, all right, Will, with that being said, I want to jump right into the show, jump right into our picks. Again, guys, remember, every game we're going to run through them here. We're going to either bet the game, we're going to pass the game, or we're going to lean one direction. And we'll let you guys know what we're doing on each one. So without further ado, Will, let's hop right into this first game of the weekend. The New York Giants will be taking on the Detroit Lions. They're traveling to Detroit. This game is currently sitting at -6.5, Will. Over under is 49.5. You have any action on this one, man? What you thinking?
Yeah, I caught it at +7. I caught it earlier in the week. I'm taking the Giants again. Yes, I know the Giants wet the bed and shitted on us last week, but
yes.
If you look at the game, early on in that game, they spotted the Cardinals 14 points, and then they actually made a comeback and kept the game close, and it got away from them at the end. But I'm going to bet the Giants, and this time, this will be my last time betting the Giants if they can't get it done. I think for the most part, they're going to come out buttoned up, not turning the football over, and I think they can play mistake-free. Saquon Barkley's got another week back, so I think he'll play better this week. And last week there was a ton of rain, so it was a sloppy game.
Yeah.
But for me, when I look at this, I look at the Detroit Lions. If you look at every game they've won this year, I think right now they are 2-3-1 on the year. If you look at the Detroit Lions in their victories, they haven't beaten anybody by more than 3 points. So for me, this is the situation where the Giants, I think they can stay within that number, and we're asking the Lions to do something and beat a team by more than 7 points, and they haven't even beat a team by more than 3 points. The other games, they tied one and then lost the other two. So for me, that's where I'm rolling at with it. And then just one more thing. The Lions traded away, I think his name is Quandre Diggs or something. I can't remember his first name, but
Quandre.
Yep. He was the captain on the defense for them. Well-respected guy in the locker room. Great nickel back and defensive back. And there was some backlash when they traded him out to Seattle. So for me, this is a situation where maybe there could be some issues turning up in the locker room. And I think that the Lions will come out this week and maybe not be as sharp as they've been in the past. And then one more thing. Snacks Harrison is banged up. Darius Slay is banged up as well. Those are probably the two most important players on that team on the defensive side of the ball. So, Giants, this is your time right now. You might be able to win the game straight up. No, I don't have that much faith in you, but I definitely think you can keep it within the 7 points. So I'll take the Giants +7.
Ooh, man, Will, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to mention to you guys here, the injuries for Detroit are just racking up with Kerryon Johnson, Big Play Slay, Snacks Harrison, and it's wild to say. Last week, man, Matthew Stafford did a remarkable feat. Became the fastest quarterback in NFL history to surpass 40,000 career passing yards that in just 147 games. But that was overshadowed by them losing again. Another, heartbreaking loss. Kansas City, Minnesota whipped them pretty good. And to that point, the injuries to me in this one is the reason why I'm going to take the over in this game. I caught it at 48.5. It's currently sitting a point higher at 49.5. If it reaches 50, I'm going to take the under. But I like it where it's at now. The number will. The Giants' offense is getting a lot healthier. I think Sterling Shepard's going to come back from his concussion. Saquon Barkley, another week on his ankle. Indoors here. You got Mr. Jones. I think he's gonna play well inside without the wet, the wet weather. And for me, the Lions defense being so beat up, I just think this is gonna be a pass heavy script without carry on for Detroit. And I think they're gonna go up and down the field here. So this is one of my best bets. I like the over 48.5 where I caught it, but I also like it too right there at that 49.5. I think it can go in the 51 range for me. So that's one of my best bets.
Definitely good. I like that as well. That looks like a shootout. So
yeah, I can definitely see that coming in. So, all right, well, next game, Tampa Bay will be headed out to Tennessee. They're taking on the Titans. Tampa Bay's coming off a bye here, Will. The spread currently sits at -2.5. It's where it's opened at. Hasn't been a whole lot of action on this game. The over-under is at 45.5. It opened at 47. So that under's been getting pounded here. Will, kind of straightforward for me on this one. This is a pass for me. I just don't trust Jameis Winston in Tampa. Tennessee, you know how we feel about Tannehill from his days in the Dolphins. So this is a pass for me, but I would lean towards the under, still at that 45.5. I just think it's something about Tennessee in the under. But Will, you got any action on this one? This is a pass for me.
Man, you were saying exactly what I was getting ready to say. This is a pass for me. The main reason is you said I can't rely on Jameis Winston. I do like that the Bucs are off. They're coming off a bye, and I expect Bruce Arians to have them ready to play. But based off of how they looked in London, I mean, they can't do anything but play better. But at the end of the day, I can't trust the Bucs until I know that Jameis Winston has had his eyes checked out and they made sure that he's not colorblind and he can differentiate between the colors on the defensive side of the ball that he's going against and his offensive players. I honestly thought when they played the Panthers that he thought some of those guys on the Panthers were wide receivers. So until he can get his eyes checked out and I can see more consistency from Ryan Tannehill, down the road, I got to leave this one alone.
Yep, we're in the same boat there, so we're gonna stay away there. All right, Will. Next game here. This is a matchup between the Bears. They're gonna be hosting the Chargers. Heartbreaking loss last week for the Chargers. They definitely should have beat Tennessee. The game opened at -6. Will, I just want to let you guys know what it opened at. It opened at -6. This line currently is at -3.5. The Bears. When I tell you all the money is coming in on the Chargers, it's coming in on the Chargers. The over-under is 41 here, Will. Wow. I mean, the action on this is unreal. Reverse action here. What you like on this one, Will? You betting it, you're passing it, or you leaning?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lean on this one. I like the Chargers. I caught it at +4 as it was going down. Hey, I hate to be on the side of the public when it's all coming on one side, but I got to take the Chargers. It's not something that I really want to touch, which is why I call it a lean. I can't trust the Bears nor Mitchell Trubisky. He seems like he's lost all the confidence in the world. And you know what? I think he actually realizes now that, you know what? Maybe the Bears did make a mistake trading up for me. Now that I think about it, maybe they should have taken Deshaun Watson or Patty Mahomes in front of me. Maybe the media is right. I can't read defenses. And so,
that's crazy.
I think everything's starting to come full circle for him. And he's realized that he's basically committed one of the biggest heists in history by collecting second overall draft pick money by the Bears and not earning the money. So he knows he's a big thief, and I think that's starting to kick into how he's playing. And so when you look at Chicago, man, last year, yeah, they went 12-4, but you got to look at a couple of aspects of that 12-4. They were the third least injured team in the league last year, so they didn't deal with a lot of injuries. And then also they were top 5 in plus turnover margin, so they were winning the turnover game just about every single game last year. And usually when you excel in those two categories, you're going to win football games in the NFL, because we know most of these teams are pretty equal. So it's going to come down to who can stay the healthiest and who's not going to turn the ball over. That has gone completely in the opposite direction this time with Chicago. One of their key players, Akeem, what's his last name, plays on the defensive line? Akeem Hicks.
Hicks, yeah.
He's the one that eats up a lot of those blockers and allows Khalil Mack to do what he's doing on the outside. And for me, with Akeem Hicks being out, I think they've suffered a little bit on the defensive line. So I don't like Trubisky. I don't like the injuries and what's going on with Chicago right now. I'm going to take the Chargers +4.
Got you. Hey, all that stuff Will just said is the exact reason why I'm going to pass this game. if you heard all the, pretty much there's a lot of fog that's around this game right here. Coming off that water in Chicago, it's foggy. Both teams, are they going to tank it? As far as the Chargers, they've lost another O lineman. Forrest Lamp is down. Trubisky, what is he? Will, that's crazy. They could have got Mahomes or Watson, the Bears. I mean, that don't even make sense. Wow. You could have had one of those two guys with that defense. I mean, that's a Super Bowl team. But with that being said, I'm passing the game. And I just want to give you guys a couple stats here. If you're thinking you want to put some action on it, Will's leaning towards the Chargers, correct? You're leaning Chargers. Yeah. Los Angeles is 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 October games. And the big stat for me, which a lot of people I think are running from this under for some reason. I don't know why you're running from it, but the under is 3-1 in the past 4 meetings, with only one of them taking place in 2011. That's the only game that's went over since 1981, and they've only played 4 times, so they don't play each other much. This is just a matchup that doesn't happen a lot in the NFL. But come across country, I don't see this really, unless Chase Daniel comes into the game at some point, then I think that could ruin a under in this game. But I'm going to pass it with the notion, if I do get any inclination that Chase Daniel is going to play for the Bears, I think I'm going to jump on the over at that point, because it's currently sitting at 40. And I think 41, a lot of people may have that back down to 40 by game time. So it's a pass for me here, Will. But if I do see some movement, I'm going to take that over 41. All right, well, let's talk about our boys.
Side note, real quick.
What you got?
We're always looking at action. I got the Celtics game on my television right now. And I at some point this weekend, I just want you to text your brother LT, because he's up close and personal to the Celtics.
Yep.
And I want to ask him exactly how fake does that Beijing on Jaylen Brown's head look? Because when he cut his box off, he's got a full layer of black ink right here on the front, and I can see it clearly. I'm tired of looking at it. I saw it the other day. I said, I got to text LT, and I got to ask him about that Beijing.
Hey, did you see? I thought it was going to run down when he started sweating. I seen him, they kept putting him on the free throw line. I was like, oh, so did that box, make his hair fall out or something?
That's what I said. He need to grow that box back.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. I was literally thinking the same thing. I'm going to hit up LT tonight, and I'm be like, hey, man. Because he's actually at the game now. He's behind the bench. So
right.
That's crazy. Wow, yeah. That Beijing. Only Willy J, y'all. Look, only him. But with that being said, well, hey, it's homecoming weekend this weekend, baby. Spellhouse weekend. It's about to be lit in the A.
Hey, the Morehouse, they playing the Seahawks, ain't
they? They got them Seahawks coming in for homecoming. It's about to be lit down here. Look, the spread ain't in their favor. The Morehouse Falcons, as we call them, y'all, are a 7-point underdog at home. So the spread's sitting at -7 for Seattle. The over-under is 53. The line really hasn't moved much. It opened at that number. It dipped a little bit to 6.5. People were coming in with the Falcons, but the news has kind of came out. Matt Ryan still hasn't practiced this week. We're recording this on Friday, so he looks like he's not going to play. Matt Schaub's going to play. So the number's right where I think it needs to be, Will. For me, I've been living with doing this all year. I like Seattle. This is one of my best bets. I think Seattle wins this game by 2 touchdowns or more. Matt Schaub has always been a turnover machine in his career. And for me, Seattle, a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, Seattle knows, Coach Quinn knows Seattle. He used to be defensive coordinator for them. Yeah, he used to be defensive coordinator way back when they had Legion of Boom and all those other guys. I just don't see the Falcons defense getting any better anytime soon. You can't rush the passer. Tack McKinley, Vic Beasley. If they're on our team next year, I will be highly surprised. Give me Seattle best bet -7 to cover. And I'm going to give you this stat real quick, y'all. The Falcons are 1-11 against the spread in their last 12 October games. Horrible, right? The Seahawks are 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 road games. So it's kind of weird. Seattle's been playing better on the road this year. And Seattle Seahawks are 5-0 straight up and against the spread in their last 5 early afternoon games. So they haven't lost their last 5 1 o'clock games. So with that being said, I like Seattle not only to win this game, but to cover pretty easily. I'll be there for a half with the boys, drinking at one of the bars in the stadium. I may or may not be in the seats. Y'all can get mad at me if you want to, saying I'm not a diehard Falcons fan, but I mean your team 1-6, so you're gonna be sitting in the stands, freaking staring at a bunch of sorry jokers run around on a homecoming weekend. No, so -7 Seattle, best bet for me. Will, what you got on this game?
This is a pass for me. The unknown is a little bit too much for me to touch it. We know Matt Ryan is probably not going to play, but I just don't even like the fact that they're dangling that out there. That might be for, gamesmanship purposes, right? But I think with the line is right where it needs to be, like you said, 7 points. If Matt Ryan's not going to play, I would probably expect it to be around 3.5 if he was playing.
Yeah.
But for me, what I'm going to do, because we like to, for all of our listeners to get both perspectives on the game, I have no problem with you taking the Seahawks -7 against the Falcons. I could see that happening. I'm going to speak a little bit on the other side of things. For the people, if they wanted to bet the Falcons, for all of our homers, we know we got a lot of Atlanta fans, right, that listen to this. So if I'm thinking about taking the Falcons, think about this with the Seahawks. For whatever reason, they just played close games, right? They played the Bengals. They beat the Bengals 21-20. They came back and beat Mason Rudolph and the Steelers 28-26, right? They lost to the Saints 33-27. They beat the Cardinals, nice victory, 27-10. And then they beat the Rams 30-29, beat the Browns 32-28. They should have lost that game to the Browns.
Yeah.
And then they lost to Baltimore by 14 points. So what that's telling me is that the Seattle kind of plays down to their competition. So that's something to think about. You mentioned Dan Quinn. He was there, when they had the Legion of Boom. Maybe this is a situation where Pete Carroll decides to take it easy on his little bald-headed friend and, maybe, take it easy, let up at the end, and maybe they get a backdoor Bobby cover. Who knows? I'm just speaking on the other side of it. I personally, if you put a gun to my head, I would take the Seahawks because at the end of the day, the Falcons have the worst defense in the league. But for me, this is a pass. But I did just want to throw that out there for our listeners if they were thinking about betting the Falcons.
Okay. Yep. I mean, hey, y'all know how we feel about Morehouse here. So, and it's homecoming weekend. You never know homecoming weekend. Either the team be live and play good, or they just been partying too much lead up to it, and they get drilled. So, we'll see what team shows up there. All right, Will. Next game here, let's talk about those guys that got destroyed by the Patriots. The Jets heading to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. This game right here is kind of tricky. -6.5, it currently sits. It opened, and that's the Jaguars' favorite. It opened at -4.5. So there's been a lot of money coming in on the Jags. That's raised it up to that 6.5. Over-under is 41 here, Will. I don't know. I'm kind of cut from the cloth of after a team gets embarrassed like that, unless they're just not that good, which I think the Jets have a few pieces. I think the team kind of tries to bounce back. They at least fight hard. So I'm going to pass this game, Will, but I kind of have a sharp bet here for the first half. Given the line here, Will, I think it's going to be probably a -1.5 first half, -2 based off of the spread where it's at. Or maybe even -3 since it's -6.5 now. But I think I would take the Jets +3 or +2.5 first half in this one, just because Jacksonville's been struggling. Minshew hasn't been playing good. That defense hasn't looked good at all since Jalen Ramsey has left. It's almost like they're missing, a piece of their puzzle. It's a pass for me, but a sharp angle. I'm going to wait on where to see where the line settles. Where I may take that first half Jets +3, +2.5 there, but I'm going to pass this game. What you got on this one?
Well, for me, that's the key number. If I were to jump on a bet like that for the first half, I gotta have at least 3.5 because that 2.5 would get your ass beat if they kick a field goal. So I would say if you're gonna take a bet like that, guys, you want to see if you can at least get to 3 and get the push right. But for me, I don't like this game. If anything, this would be a Jags or pass for me. But I'm not confident in Minshew. I'm not confident in Darnold. I was disappointed in him when I hear him talking about he's seeing ghosts in the middle of the game last week. I'm like, bro, you don't say that on national TV. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, you don't.
Gase is not a good coach right now for me. And then the Jets are also a little banged up. I think Fournette will have a big game. I think he'll be able. They can run the ball on them at home.
Yeah.
And one stat that sticks out to me, if I were leaning the Jags for the game, the Jets in their last 7 games are 0-7 against the spread, following a game where the turnover margin was -3 or more.
Oh.
So we know how much they turn the ball over in New England. So it seems to be like a shit, pile up and run downhill on them. So
yeah,
just be cognizant of that, guys. The Jets don't play well when they play bad. So keep an eye on that. But this is Jags or pass for me.
Gotcha. All right, well, next game here, Bills and the Eagles. This game is currently sitting at -1.5. It opened up as a pick'em. Over under is 42 right now. Will, this is borderline disrespectful for me. A 5-1 Bills team. They've looked good all year. The defense has been real good. I don't want to put any action on it just because the Eagles are really a wild card. I'm leaning the Bills here, and I'm leaning the under as well. Just simply because the Eagles are 1-10 and 1 will against the spread in their last 12 games in the early afternoon. So the Eagles play a lot of games, Thursday night, Sunday night, because they're always playing the Cowboys. They play a lot of later games. And it's just weird. It's that the sky is falling there. You got Alejandro Skandrick. I don't know if you guys heard. He came out on the radio and basically dogged out the Eagles, saying they're living off the Super Bowl high. They can't come down from it. And people are talking about Wentz is still thinking about the Foles statue that's in the that's at the facility, and Nick Foles is a hero there. Nobody really rocks with Wentz, so the locker room is split. So because of that, Will, I want to take the Bills so bad. I want to kind of hear some more stuff leading up to Sunday. But one more nugget for you, well, 2 more nuggets for you guys. The total has gone under in 5 of the Eagles' last 7 road games. So they, low and slow for them. And the Bills, we know what kind of defense they have. And the total has gone under in 4 of the Bills' last 5 games versus the Eagles. So with that being said, Will, I'm going to pass the game. But if I had to go one way or the other, I would lean the Bills and the under for this game. What you got on this one?
I like Philly -2 or whatever. I think what this line, I caught it at -2.
Okay.
I think what this line is telling you guys, or is telling us, and we've talked about this multiple times on the show. When you play at home, when they set these lines, if you're at home, you get 3 points. So what they're saying is right now they think Philadelphia is 1 point a better team than Buffalo. So if they're playing in the Super Bowl tomorrow, where are they playing? Miami, Philly would be favored by 1. That's what they're telling us, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I can understand that because don't get me wrong, I love the Bills. I love the upward trajectory of Sean McDermott and his young quarterback and what they're doing there. But when you look at what the Bills have done, they played the New York Jets in week 1. The Jets had them all but dead. They beat the Jets 17-16. The Jets had them, 16-3 with about, let's say 20 minutes left in the game. So early in the third quarter, they had them 17-3. The Jets gave that game away. Turned the ball over. They beat them 17-16.
They did.
They come back the next week. They play the Giants. They played the Eli Manning-led Giants, beat them 28-14, right? Okay. If you want to call that a nice win, nice win. Then they come back and beat the Cincinnati Bengals 21-17. That was not a cakewalk. They beat Andy Dalton and the Cincinnati Bengals. We've seen how they look this year, right? You go down the list. New England, okay, they played that game well. They lost to New England 16-10. New England didn't do anything on offense, and they still couldn't win the game. New England blocked a punt and turned them over and beat them that way.
Yeah.
So that's a game they really should have won. And then you look at the Tennessee Titans. They beat the Titans 14-7, right? The Titans missed 4 field goals in that game, bro. 4 field goals. So, I mean, hey,
yeah.
When you look at who they beat, and then they beat the Dolphins 31-21 last week. The Dolphins were winning that game for the first, in the first half. So, I think that's why Vegas is sitting up there telling us, hey, we really think Philly is better than them. So, if anything, I would bet Philadelphia. And then I found some trends that I actually like in this situation. All I can do is go off history. In the last 15 games, playing at home. Buffalo is 3-12 against the spread after playing the Dolphins. I don't know what that means, but they're 3-12 after playing the Dolphins against the spread at home. Secondly, the Philadelphia Eagles are 13-2 against the spread in their last 15 games after being blown out in a loss straight up 20 points or more. That happened with Dallas. So I think Philly will bounce back this week. And I would just, if I had to bet on it, I'd put an Xbox game on it. I put $60 on it or whatever. Not anything heavy, but I would just play the numbers. I don't like how things are going in Philly right now, but I just got to play those numbers and take them -2 or +2, excuse me.
Okay, I like it there. I like your reason. I may jump on that with you. You might have swayed me a little bit over to the Eagles, just with what you said. So I may take that. I may put a PlayStation game on it.
There you go.
Now
we're not talking about the clearance section in Walmart, the Madden 2017 with Brady on the front. This 2 years later, Antonio Brown came and now Patty Mahomes. So we're not talking about that one that you buy your stepchild. We're talking about the one that's out now.
Yeah, we're talking about the most recent. So, all right, Will. So next game here, let's go to the another old team. 0-7 Bengals heading out to LA. You got the matchup of two good buddies here, Sean McVay, Rams head coach, and we got what's my name?
Zachary Taylor.
Zachary Taylor. We got Zach Taylor, the head coach of the Bengals, formerly the quarterback's coach of the Rams. Matchup here, I think this game right here is getting a lot of action because of that matchup. I feel like a lot of people are getting too excited because Zach Taylor may know what Sean McVay may do, or he may know the plays or the schemes or whatnot. But you guys got to remember, McVay knows the same thing. It goes the other way. Who has the better team? That's the question you have to ask yourself here. It's no-brainer for me that the Rams are a better team. Yes, they've struggled, but I think they kind of got right against the Falcons. Against Morehouse College. Everybody does. That's hey, we'll play you guys. We'll give you guys $2 million to play you so we can work on some of our game. That's who Morehouse College is this year. And they got right. And the biggest factor for me here, and the reason, Will, this is going to be one of my best bets. The spread is at -12 right now for the Rams. The over-under is at 48. I'm actually loving that -12. It's a weird number. It's crazy to just think you're going to do that. But the Rams are 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 games as a double-digit favorite. That tells me a lot. That tells me in those scenarios, Vegas knows. They know when the Rams are going to come out and dust somebody off. The only time they lost, I guess, under McVay was the Tampa Bay game when Tampa came out and put all those points on them this year. So I really, really love the Rams in this one. One of my best bets, -12 here. The Rams are not, playing that good at home, but they need to win to pretty much stay in the NFC playoff race, Will. So I think they take care of business and cover. And another thing here, the Bengals are one of the worst. They are the worst team in the NFL against the run. I think Todd Gurley gets right. I think he finally has one of those games where you're like, oh, Todd Gurley's back. But remember, it's against the Bengals. And sharp play here, the under 48. Just because I think the Rams are going to run the ball so much, that clock may tick. So that I'm leaning the under 40. Where is it at now? Under 48. I may take that as well. But best bet, Rams -12 here, Will. What kind of action you got for it, buddy?
For me, I would go ahead and lay the points with the Rams. McVay has been in this spot before. They played in London a couple seasons ago. I think his first season there, they played the Cardinals and beat them 33-0. So I think the experience aspect of that is huge. He knows how to prepare his team playing in London. Zach Taylor, he doesn't know how to prepare his team to play in Cincinnati. So, let alone London. So I would take Sean McVay and the Rams in this spot. The other thing I like about it, the Rams did not travel back to the West Coast after they beat the Falcons. They stayed in Atlanta, practiced. It was kind of like a mini camp for them. Allowed the team to bond a little bit better. Jalen Ramsey has another week this week learning the defense. And so I think going over to London, that'll be good for them. This is considered a night game in London. So I guess they're 6 hours ahead of us, so it'll be at 7 p.m. their time, 1 o'clock p.m. our time. So it gives their body a little bit more time to adjust, and quite frankly, I just like the Rams. So I would lay the 12-13 with the Rams.
Yeah, I think they win by 2 touchdowns. pretty easily for me, especially being over in London. So, all right, next game here, Willie J. The Arizona Cardinals, the 3-game winning streak Arizona Cardinals, hot right now, traveling to New Orleans, taking on the Saints, 6-1. Saints have won 5 straight games under Teddy Bridgewater. Line is at -10.5 currently. It opened up at -7.5, so this thing has jumped all the way up 3 points. Over under is 48. Well, this is a tough pass for me. I really, really, really want to take the Saints and lay that 10.5 there. I actually had it at -7.5 when it came out. I was about to take it, but something told me to wait because of Drew Brees, news and stuff. And just a lot of people think, okay, Drew coming back is actually going to benefit them, but football is a rhythm sport. Once you get in a groove where all 11 guys are kind of used to a sound of a voice, or the way Teddy Bridgewater does things, or even the defense, they're just rolling how they're doing things. You throw in Drew Brees, it's not like they're going to fall off. It's just going to break the rhythm. That may make them start slow. They may have a couple miscommunications on handoffs. So for me, I'm going to pass the game, Will. But if I had to take something, you put a shotgun in my head, I would take the Saints to lay those points. But I'm going to pass the game, Will. You got any action on this one?
This is a pass for me. I will say this: New Orleans is 4-0 against the spread against the Cardinals in the last 4 games. If anything, I would play the under in this game. I expect Teddy Bridgewater to play, and the reason why I say that is, these guys got to be idiots if they would play Drew Brees this week. Why would you do that? This seems like a winnable game against the Cardinals. The Saints are off next week. That'll give them this week and next week, and then you throw them back in the fold, after that.
Against Morehouse College, too.
Right, exactly. This team is rolling right now. They're playing well. Give them another week. The thing that I was thinking about with Drew Brees, and he wouldn't be good if he didn't think this way. I think there's some ego and some pride, going on in Drew Brees right now. He's got a little confidence about himself, and he wants to play. Drew, you don't have to worry about anything. This is your team, man. They're not going to bench you for Teddy Bridgewater. Take 2 more weeks, let your thumb heal, and come back and have another career day against the Falcons in a couple weeks, okay? This is a tough road test for the Cardinals. I don't know if they'll be able to keep up with the Saints. This is I like what Cliff Kingsbury and what they've been doing the last few weeks, winning some games, but I think this is a little tough for them.
Yeah.
But if I did anything, it would be the under.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I like that. I may have to jump on that with you too, Will. Will, the Raiders let me down last week. That one hurt. Raiders and the Texans. This game right here, Will, currently sitting at, let's see where Oakland is. It's a -7. Houston's the favorite here. Over under is 52. Raiders have been good at being an underdog this year and covering. Last week was an anomaly for me. They still played well. They had 3 touchdowns called back, and they got hammered by the Packers. Texans also coming off a road loss to the Colts. We actually hit that one. Will, you got any action for this game? That's going to be right there in your city. What you thinking on this one?
Yeah, I like this one. I like the Texans. If you can get it under that 7, if you take the 7, hey, that might be a push. But if you can get 6.5, 6, I like the Texans in this spot. You talked about it. We were right last week about Houston. One thing I said was they looked like they were a fat hog ready to be slaughtered. That's exactly what happened when they went up to Indianapolis. They're just, that's the Houston Texans. It's very similar to the Falcons or, Atlanta sports teams. When they're up, they get up, and when they're down, they come crashing down, right?
Yep.
So I've kind of come to knowing that by watching them the last couple years living out here. But I think, overall, this is a spot where they bounce back. Oakland, the Raiders. You look at Cleveland Farrell. He's been a little bit of a disappointment from the pass rush standpoint. But I think we knew that coming out of Clemson. He wasn't really a guy that got you a ton of sacks. He was more of a guy that sets the edge and, funnels things back inside. He's so I think that's what they're trying to work on him with, getting more of a pass rush. I think even the guy Max Crosby, he has more sacks than him this year.
Yeah.
But overall, Oakland's not good against, defending the pass from the pass rush standpoint. They're 25th in the league right now in sacks with 10 overall. That's pretty low. And I think that's the key to beating the Houston Texans. if you can put pressure on Deshaun Watson, he's like one of the most sacked quarterbacks the last 2 years. If you can put pressure on him and sack him, that unravels everything Houston's trying to do, on the offensive side of the ball. And then if you don't put any pressure on him, he will eat you alive. All you got to do is go back and look at the Falcons game. He was sitting there, 4-5 seconds, taking 7 steps, drops, and they threw for 400 yards.
Yep.
Right? They put up 50 points. So with that being said, Oakland not being able to really get a pass rush on the Texans, I like them to cover the 6.5. Take it at 7 as well. And then also Josh Jacobs, he's questionable this week. Tyrell Williams is questionable. Just a lot of question marks right now on the Oakland side of the ball. Oakland to Houston, that's about a 4-hour trip. I've made it a couple times this year. That's a long trip. I'll take the Houston Texans -6.5.
I like it. I actually like it. If you catch it at 7 here, this is one of my best bets. Texans -7. You can buy it down a half a point if you don't feel comfortable with that 7. I think they easily get that cover. Oakland is 2-12 straight up in their last 14 road games, Will. And they're 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games underdog. So they're struggling on the road. Another thing, too, Garyon Conley, their third-round draft pick from a couple years ago, the Raiders just traded him away. And I think that's a big loss for them. That was one of the few bright spots in their secondary. But I think the Raiders saw it kind of – they're middle of the road this year. I don't – they think they may make the playoffs. They may not. Gruden and Mayock are all about getting equity for the future, and that wasn't one of their guys that I think – that wasn't one of Mayock guys. So they went ahead and let him go. Also, too, Will talked about the pass rush. They really haven't been getting pressure. No pressure on the quarterback, plus a shaky secondary. That's a recipe for a big day for Watson, Hopkins, Kenny Stills. Will Fuller's out with a hamstring. But for me, at the end of the day, Will, I'm going to take a page out of the NBA here, and me and Will talk about this a lot in the NBA. When those NBA teams go on a long road trip, say a 5 games and 9-day road trip where they're on the road, that last game before they go home is either going to go one way or the other. Either they play hard because they're ready to go home and it's a close match, they may win, or most of the times, like 7 out of 10 times, they're getting blown out because they're ready to go home, see their families, be in their own bed. They've been in hotels for almost 2 weeks. I think that's going to happen to the Raiders in this situation. Remember, guys, the Raiders have been away from Oakland for a whole month. They haven't had a whole game in a month. This is the last one before they get a home game next week. I think Oakland being banged up, Josh Jacobs, and like Will mentioned, they have a couple old linemen banged up here. Tyrell Williams is dealing with plantar fasciitis. One of my best bets of the week, Texans -7, or you can buy a point to 6.5. But I think Watson, Hopkins, Stills, Duke Johnson, and those guys, I think they shred Oakland in this game. And this is probably one of the worst blowouts, I think, of the week. And everybody's going to think the sky's falling in Oakland after 2 back-to-back blowouts. So give me the Texans -7 here, Will. One of my best bets. All right. I think this game right here is going to be the game of the week if the quarterback can play good. Carolina Panthers traveling to San Francisco. 4-2 Carolina, 6-0 San Francisco 49ers. Spread is at -5.5. It opened at -6 wheels down a hook. Over-under is 42. Will, because it's so tight matched, this is literally like, to me, it's at -5.5, but I think this is more of a toss-up in a sense. San Francisco's O-line is so banged up. At some point, it's going to catch up with them. And I think it's going to be this week because Carolina has a front four that can get after you. Real fast speed rushes. Brian Burns from Florida State has really showed me a lot. K'Wan Short. They really have a good D-line front 7. I think they get after Carolina. But Kyle Shanahan, man, his scheme and everything is just so tricky. Well, I'm going to pass this game. I'm going to see if anything else pops open before Sunday. If I had to go with something and I had to put my last dollar on it, I will put it on the Panthers +5.5. But I'm going to stay away from it and pass it, Will. What you got on this one?
I don't have too much thoughts on this one. This one is a pass because I can see the Panthers going out there playing lights out with their defense, and I can also see the 49ers turn up on them with their defense. The question mark is the quarterback play, Jimmy G and Kyle Allen. So for me, this is a pass. I'm just going to sit back and watch and see kind of what happens in that game.
Gotcha. Next game, Will, here. This is another, for me, this is another pass just because it's same thing. Line is Denver is traveling to Indianapolis. The Colts are coming off a win over the Texans. Line sitting at -5.5. Colts are the favorite. Denver, they're struggling. Just trade away Emmanuel Sanders. Over under is 42. What is Denver doing? Is Elway tanking? We already heard rumors. Chris Harris Jr. is looking for a trade as well, trying to get out of Dodge. Are they tanking for one of those quarterbacks trying to come out? The Colts here, it seems like a layup play for them, but this year it's weird. The Colts have kind of like what's the team you talked about earlier? It's kind of like the Seahawks. The Colts have played down to their competition. Teams that were inferior to their level, you know, they played up and beat the Chiefs. They played up and beat the Texans this year. The Colts they got beat by the Raiders. The Colts got beat by, who was the other team that they shouldn't have lost to?
Chargers.
Let me see. Yep, the Chargers. The Chargers haven't beat anybody all year. And then they squeaked by the Titans. So the teams that really aren't that good and are struggling, it seems like the Colts just come out and kind of sleepwalk. So for that reason, I'm going to pass the game, Will. If I had to lean one way, though, I would lean the under in this game just because the defense is here. They're under 42. But this is definitely a pass for me, Will. What type of action you got on this one?
Oh, this is the best bet for me. I'm going to take the Colts minus the 5.5. And this is more, than anything, this is a fade against Denver. To me, it just seems like the team, you mentioned it a little bit, it seems like they're starting to give up. Elway traded away Emmanuel Sanders. I don't like what I've seen from Joe Flacco in the offense. And the one thing we know about the Colts is that they play hard, they're well coached, and when they're at full strength, they're a pretty formidable opponent. That win that they had in Kansas City was impressive to me. When you think about some of their letdowns this year, yeah, they lost to the Chargers. That was their first game with Brissett under center, so they, still off the shock of Andrew Luck a little bit. I think that played a little part in it. And then when they lost to the Raiders, they were missing T.Y. Hilton, Marlon Mack, and Darius Leonard. So for me, that was a game where they were fighting with one hand in a sense. So I don't see a lot of let up from this team, or let down, I should say. And so I just love Frank Wright as a coach. He gets his guys ready to play. So I think they can cover that 5.5 or 5 against Denver. And like I said, this is more of a fade against Denver. I don't really like what I see from them.
Okay. I got you there. Will, let's go on to the Magic. Let's go into the Magic team here. Pats hosting the Browns. Patriots at home, just don't lose. Line currently sitting at -11. I learned my lesson last week, Will. I'm going to be honest with you. This is kind of no-brainer for me. Another best bet. Patriots -11. A lot of people have been hammering the Browns, though. I don't see it. They're coming off a bye week. I don't care if they were coming off of an off season where they game playing for the Patriots. I just don't care. I won't make that mistake again. New England is 12-0 straight up and 10-2 against the spread in its last 12 games. Will, as a double-digit favorite at home. 12-0 straight up, 10-2 against the spread. For me, Will, this is literally, sometimes it's best not to overthink it. You know what I mean? I did that last week and I got burned. The Patriots defense is dominant at home. The Browns struggle. The team is kind of imploding. Odell Beckham Jr. talking about he would love to play for Tom Brady. I mean, he came out and said that earlier this week to the media. Like, who says that? You're going to play this guy and you're talking about you would love to play for him. Like, that's like throwing Baker under the bus. The Browns are just struggling. Their play caller, to me, is going to struggle. Their head coach, Freddie Kitchens, needs to give it up. Give me New England. Best bet -11 here. I actually called it at 13, and I still loved it. And a couple little nuggets for you, Will, before I let you roll. The Browns are 1-17 straight up in their last 18 games in October. Wow. The Patriots are 10-0 straight up in their last 10 games, period. And the total here, this is kind of a sharp angle. The total has gone over in 4 of the last 5 games versus the Patriots. That's the Browns playing them. So that's another angle I'm looking at too. But it's hard to do it with that defense, Will. 33-0 last week. The Patriots defense just don't give up enough points. And the Pats offense isn't a juggernaut. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But Will, what type of action you got on this game?
If anything, I like the Patriots to cover that. That 11 points, that's a layup in my opinion. And I don't think Belichick likes Baker Mayfield or how he conducts himself too much, right? So
Yeah.
I think this is a game where the Patriots and Belichick will try to put Baker in his place some more. Seems like he would be put in his place by, already with how he's played, 5 touchdowns, 11 picks so far for this year.
Yeah.
Think about this. We talked about this. If anything, you bet the Patriots or you pass this game. Since 2003, Belichick and Brady are 62% against the spread. 62%. That's like, I mean, that's impressive, right?
Bro, that's money.
It is. Cleveland is 2-13 in their last 15 games against teams with 70% winning percentage or better. They don't cover against good teams, right?
Wow.
And I love what Belichick, at the end of the day, what he does to young quarterbacks. He just confuses them, puts them under a lot of stress, has them seeing things that they think they saw, and then they end up throwing a pick because it was a different coverage. He confuses them, right? And so for me, I got to roll with the Patriots. I like what they're doing on defense. I can't see the Browns scoring that much on them in Foxborough. Take a good look at what the team total for points will be with Cleveland. If it looks juicy, take the under on that as well. But like I said, this is a layup for the Patriots. I think they'll cover that.
Yep. Same boat there. Well, next game here, Kansas City. The Pat Mahomes Kansas City Chiefs will be hosting the Green Bay Packers. Spread currently sits at -4. Green Bay, 4-point favorite on the road. And the over-under is 47.5. Will, you know what I do when the Chiefs are at home? You could probably tell me what my best bet is.
The Chiefs.
With the over. What about the over-under at the Chiefs at home?
What's the over again? What's the over?
47.5. What do I always do when the Chiefs are at home?
Over it.
No, under it.
Oh, you under it. Oh, my bad.
Always. For me, I always go under it. Just their record at home, their last, their record at home, I mean, it's just getting the under. I think the only one this year that's went over was the Ravens game, and that was a backdoor Bobby there. Lamar Jackson pulled off a remarkable run at the end of the game to do that. So give me the under 47.5 in this game. Packers defense is better than we think. And I think your theory is going to go into play here. Willy J always has that theory of when your star gets hurt, the rest of the guys kind of rally around each other, get better. And I think the defense is going to play better in this game and keep this game low and under because everybody's going to jump on the over because of what Rodgers did last week. So for me, I think it's going to make sense to go ahead and take that under. I always take the under when the Chiefs are at home under Andy Reid. In the past 3 years, it's covered, 58% of the time, which is a good number. So give me the under 47.5 here, Will. Best bet, Packers, Chiefs at home, 47.5 under. What you like, Will?
Oh, for me, this is I got a best bet. This is my best bet of the week, and I'd say probably the last couple weeks.
Ooh.
Hold on 1 second. I love the Kansas City Chiefs plus 4.5. That's what I caught it at. I just think that's a great bet. You got to think about the Packers in this sense. No doubt about it, Lockett. They are playing well this year. They're playing well. But what I think is that they're a smudge or a tad bit overrated. The reason why I say that, they played 7 games so far this year. They played 5 of them at home. You know when you play at home, you're getting 3 points. So if you look at their point differential, it's a little bit higher than what it would be. You're going to get that 3-point advantage playing at home for the most part on average. And then also what I want you to think about is Lambeau Field is one of the most difficult places to play. So it's really more of a 4-point swing when they're playing at home. They played 5 out of their 7 games at home. That's 2 more on the average than every other team in the league right now. And then I want you to think about Aaron Rodgers. His career, he's been excellent at home. He's 500 on the road. And against winning teams, he's like, I want to say 5-23. That was when I checked it last year in 2018. They didn't have a good year last year, so I wouldn't be surprised if that record isn't too far off from that. 5-23 against winning teams on the road. Another thing, you talked about it already. We've said this before. When a team initially loses their star, you want to bet them that next night or you bet them that week. I think there's even more of motivation for Kansas City to try to come out and win this game this week because even though they lost their quarterback, they got good news. And the good news is that Patty Mahomes will be back. It's not like he's out for the year. Maybe if he was out for the year, a superstar like that, they might, play a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm just saying badly. They might not play that well, right? But I think the New Orleans Saints is the perfect example of holding it down until your superstar quarterback comes back. So I think they're looking at the Saints saying, hey, the Saints can do it with Teddy Bridgewater. We're going to go out there and try to do it this week. Playing at home at Arrowhead Stadium at night with the way Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay plays on the road, I can't roll. I just got to take it. I'm taking the Chiefs 4.5 plus 4.5.
That's Willy J's best bet of the week. His greatest bet. All right, last game of the week, Will. We're going to the Steelers, Pittsburgh. Here we go. Hosting the sorry Dolphins. You rocking the hat. Will, I'm glad you rocked the hat because, Will, this is probably my best bet of the year, bro. Like, period. I think this is the biggest trap of the year for Vegas and those bookies. They want everybody to jump on the Steelers. They had it at 16.5. That's what it opened at, right? This game has got bet so much on the Dolphins, it's down to 13.5. They're gonna. It's people out here that's gonna bet this so low to where we gotta either pull this off the books or something. I think Vegas tried to get everybody on it, but I think the sharps like me and you, Will, we're not buying it. Best bet of the year. Dolphins plus 13.5 on the road versus Steelers. I know they're 0-6. I'm not saying the Dolphins will win. But the Steelers are 2-4. Injury-riddled team here. The Steelers are a flawed team. Let's just put it straight up. They have a second-string quarterback, Will. 3 weeks removed from a serious concussion. Come on now. He's just coming back. Despite the Dolphins not having any wins, bro, I truly feel like Ryan Fitzpatrick will fight the whole game. Like, he's the type of quarterback that's just not going to lay down. That's just his MO. I think they covered this pretty easily, actually. The Steelers, Will, are 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 games as double-digit favorite. And just listen to this. Think about the 5 games where they were double-digit favorite. This was the previous year when they had Big Ben, AB, and Le'Veon. And they're 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 as a double-digit favorite. That was the last time they were double-digit favorite. So you take away the triplets. Ain't no way they're covering this, Will. If the Pittsburgh Steelers cover this, I'm telling you this right now. If the Dolphins don't cover this game, they're going 0-16, bro. Period. So for me, Will, best bet of the week. Give me Fitzmagic in Pittsburgh Monday night on the big stage. Oh, hold on. And Minka Fitzpatrick, he gonna give him the wrong plays because he want the Dolphins to win because that's who drafted him. Y'all think he gonna give him the playbook? Nah, he gonna give him the wrong plays so they can eat. I like him. I caught it at actually 14.5 here, so Dolphins plus 14.5. I also like it at 13.5. I would bet it up to probably about 9.5. I'll probably bet it up to about 9.5. If it hits 9.5, then I'll go with the Steelers. So. Give me that, Will. Best bet of the week. Best bet of the year. Dolphins plus 14.5. What you got on this one, Will?
I agree. I'm going to pass this game because I don't want to watch the Dolphins and Steelers on Monday Night Football. I'd rather watch Love and Hip Hop Hollywood than watch that, man. But, I'm just kidding. God. I'm not watching that. But I'm not watching the Dolphins and Steelers. I caught it. When I saw it earlier in the week, I saw it at 14.5. So I would definitely take the Dolphins in this situation. You look at the Steelers, the last 4 games, they've covered against the spread. One of those was a push, depending on where you caught it at. And that push that I'm talking about was, let me see, that game was Baltimore. So it depends on where you caught that at, right? But for me, in each one of those games, Pittsburgh was in the underdog role. Now, when you ask them to cover 14 points, I just think that's a bit too much with Mason Rudolph at quarterback. How are they going? They're not an explosive offense at this point. They can't cover that much. So, if anything, it would be Dolphins or pass for me.
Gotcha. Well, hey, I like it. I'm riding them Dolphins, man. Y'all see the hat Willy J wore for me. He just didn't know it. So Dolphins all day. But hey, that pretty much wraps it up. NFL Week 8. That's all the games there. What we're gonna do, and guys, I forgot it last week. I'm gonna post all of our best bets. I'm gonna post those probably right after the games lock 1 o'clock. So you guys may get those 4 o'clock games if you want to lay them, but if you guys actually listen to the entire pod, you'll get all of them anyway. I mean, I have people DM me complaining about, hey, you guys didn't give out free picks. And I just say, did you listen to the podcast?
Those are picks right there.
Yeah, all the picks. And even my premium picks that I sell to clients and stuff, the ones that you really don't get. A lot of these picks I say on here are a lot of my premium picks, guys. So if you're really listening, you really don't even have to jump into action, on a subscription. But, hey, that's for another day. But Willie J, man, when that music come in, it's always a good time, man. I love that music. Go and take us home, brother.
I want y'all to have a good weekend, man. It's time to stay sharp and follow that money. And remember, if you see a bet, make a bet. That's a bet.
That's a bet. Hey, that's Willie J. I'm 2T's. We'll see you guys next week on That's a Bet Podcast. Hey, subscribe, like, comment. We'll holler at y'all. Peace.